Hey, you fucks, this is Everyone's Wrong. I'm Dave, aka the Great Scorched North.
I am Dustin. McCarthy did nothing wrong, Dark.
I hope that's not MacArthur, the fucking gay serial killer in Toronto. Did you hear about this?
No, no one didn't. No.
No, dude's been killing people. Well, now they're looking back to the 70s and 80s, but dude's been killing people since the early 2000s in Toronto out of the gay village there. And he's a landscaper. So what he's done with the remains is his clients around the city, he's put the remains in their flower pots. So the Toronto police have been having to go around and digging up fucking rose gardens and beds and shit looking for femurs and whatnot in people's flower gardens.
I bet that makes some killer squash.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I imagine that the tomatoes are like extra juicy and red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I'm kind of halfway joking there. Like I really bet it made some like really nice gardens as a gardener.
Yeah, probably.
But
maybe.
I'm clearly talking about America's famed commie hunter.
Yes.
I'm saying that McCarthy did nothing wrong.
Yes.
That they deserved it. And if
Yes.
Pinochet made a visit, I might be saying similar things about him. But he didn't make it this far north.
Yes.
Did you listen to Dan Carlin's new podcast by chance?
With the Japanese?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I didn't catch the guy's name. I'm going to have to re-listen to it and then learn more about him. But he mentioned the person that he believes to be the person responsible for killing the most commies. And it's and it's some Japanese guy, which based in Japan.
Well, that would make a lot of sense considering that they killed a lot of Chinese people. Like the genocide of the war that. Obviously, the genocide in Europe was terrible and everything, but that paled in comparison to the amount of... we're only on part one of that story that he's on. It's going to get fucking nasty.
Oh, yeah, the raping of Nanking is... Have you seen the documentary? Raping of Nanking? It was on Netflix. I'm sure you can find it through one of the many apps that we use today, but it is... It's horrific. It's like babies getting raped in half horrific. Terrible, terrible, terrible shit that the Japanese did to the Chinese there in Nanking. Now,
but the Japanese that leading up to those events, they're basically the alt-right.
Yes, yeah,
they're basically the alt-right for sure. They're playing right-wing identity politics. 100%. And nationalism. And we can't say white nationalists, but fucking Japanese nationalists for sure.
Right, well, I mean, they just played the imperialist game the same way all the other imperialists did.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not pretend that America or
I'm not.
Any of the rest of them were any less, identity politicking or
racist
at the time. No, they just did what Asians do.
Well, hang on.
They just did what Asians do, what we do but better. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, so 1940s, 1930s. Okay. America was racist, but America wasn't a genocidal, murderous genocidal country at that point. Like the Japanese went to the fucking, like Dan Carlin said, to the 11th degree, right? So it's not really a fair comparison. Like I get it. There's racism in the States at that time and probably pretty bad, but not like kill 80 million Chinese people bad.
No, we were like starving the Filipinos to death at this time, though.
Sure,
we were carrying out our own Pacific Island genocide.
Yes,
following the Spanish-American War, which we really had no business fighting.
Yes, and the British were in the Philippines at that point as well.
Yes. So there, anyway, how did we get in these weeds?
I don't know, because I said something about a serial killer putting bodies in pots, and then you were like, pew pew, communists suck, and I was like, yeah, right on, buddy. No, McCarthy.
Yeah, McCarthy era. That's right.
You didn't ask me about the change of the beginning of the show.
Yeah. What is the scorched?
Oh, it's been like
Just
it's
the
been
heat.
above 30 every day this summer. We haven't had we had like I think 2 days, like two, not days of rain, but just like two bits of rain
Yeah.
since mid June. It's dry as fuck. There's just the sun is pouring down. Like it is paradise really, but it's hot,
We
hot.
we're having almost daily rains right about 4 p.m. every day.
Uh,
Have
we're not
thunderstorms
getting
roll
any.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's humid as fuck. That's what I don't get. It's like so today the temperature was um, 33 without the humidex, or the humidex it was like 38. So it's humid every day. It's just not fucking.
Okay. So you're giving us the straight temperature this time. You're not giving us like the heat index shit.
33 and then index is 38.
Okay. Because today was like 95, index 104 or some shit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but you're from Alabama. And you don't live half your fucking more than half of your year in cocksucking below zero, right?
True.
Okay, so 140 you should be like nothing.
No, it's still 104 degrees. It's still ball sweltering heat. Yeah, that doesn't make it any better, man.
Are you sure? You should be more used to it.
Okay, here's like the way it works for me is even though it's probably hotter now, a month ago was harder because I wasn't accustomed to it. So it's not like what I was doing 6 months affects what I'm accustomed to now. But I just have to get used to each season. That's it. I just have to get used to it, and then it's getting easy now.
For me, the reason why I say the heat index, because I don't give a fuck what that little thing says. If it feels like it's 111, it's 111. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, Mercury is measuring an actual temperature change. No, I disagree with you there.
Okay.
We need both. We need both.
No. I'm not saying we don't need both, but what I'm saying is if it feels like 111, it's 111.
No, it's not.
Your body doesn't know any different. Your body does not know any different.
But your body is literally subjective. We're like one is a subjective temperature and one is an objective temperature. Like one is it is this, the other one is it feels like this. So, I mean both matter. And
Yes.
I
Wind chill matters more.
Yes, because wind chill is a life and death thing. I mean, I
Yes.
guess the heat index is as well because as it gets more humid, your sweat dissipates less effectively. Yeah. So, and you know what, Dave? You've been a terrible host. And let me tell you why. This is our first ever live video.
And I didn't mention it.
You didn't mention that there's a video stream. You didn't mention any of this.
Well, you didn't tell me where these fine people can go to look at it.
Our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and search Everyone's Wrong Podcast and follow us on YouTube. That's where the live is going out right now. And of course, we're going to continue to put the audio.
In fairness to me, we did zero planning as usual.
Oh.
Right? Like we sat down on the computer, and not that you weren't trying to working to set this up, but you and I were supposed to get together, and I had to see Tracy's dumbass fucking relatives off to the airport. And I didn't make our meeting yesterday. So, in fairness to you, I sat down with no information.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you did know that we had a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I did.
And then we were going to be live streaming on it.
Please, I didn't know that part.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm awful. This is like what do you call it? Shoestring budget fucking podcast.
Oh yeah, man. Well, no one's watching. No one's watching.
There's zero people watching.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But not that it matters one way or the other.
No.
But yeah. So I wanted to talk about this Cortez cunt in New York again.
Cortez cunt.
Yeah.
Smash or pass? Be honest.
I mean, that's smash, dude.
Yeah,
I smashed the
100%.
shit out of it. Oh yeah, dude.
100%.
I wouldn't call her
Yeah.
back.
No.
I wouldn't call her back, but I'd
And if
smash.
she
Yeah.
tried talking, that would be the end of it.
Um, I want to make a commie joke here, but none of them's coming to mind. So I don't know. I'd blame the bourgeoisie, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I got nothing there. And what did you want to talk about tonight, Dave?
I want to talk about I guess, like probably what's going to be the biggest, second biggest topic here in the next election, and your biggest topic that's going to be in the midterms, which is migrants, illegal aliens, and border security.
This should be a ton of fun here from your end.
Yes.
We've actually talked a lot of Canadian migration over the what year and a half we've been doing
But
this.
I specifically want to talk about the because we have a new government in Ontario, and they've said no more. Like, we're not taking anymore,
Yeah.
and the the immigration minister. I'll just read the article, and then
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
So how are we? This is one last thing, and this shows how little we have prepared here, Dave. So
yeah. How are we gonna have a break?
how are we gonna have a break? That's what I was wondering right now. Like,
Okay.
I could pull the video down from this. We could mute our mics and talk through Facebook Messenger, I suppose. And then when you're ready to go, just unmute and throw the video back up. That's good
Yeah,
for you.
yeah. Or like if we need a break, right?
Yeah. Well,
Shit.
I'll tell you what. If you just want to roll into the first segment, we can. But I'm gonna grab a beer.
Yeah. Let's just press mute and come right back.
Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be right
All
back.
right.
All right.
All right, dude.
Welcome back, sir.
Okay, so you're going to tell us about the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yes, the Young Democratic Socialists of America, which the new congresswoman, soon-to-be congresswoman in New York, is a professed member of. And of course, right up here we have a quote from Colonel West. The DSA is a major organization on the American left with an all-embracing moral vision, systematic social analysis, and political praxis rooted in the quest for radical democracy, social freedom, and individual liberties. Radical democracy.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Okay, so forgive my ignorance of your political system, but how is did she run as a Democrat?
Okay, so this is not a political party. Okay.
Okay.
This is an organization. It's dsausa.org. They are not a political party. So she ran as a Democrat, and the Democrats are actually shouldering her as, quote, the future of the Democratic Party right now.
Okay, so the Democratic Party is no longer for the free market, or what's going on there?
Well, they're in this awkward position where they're still for a free market, but they have this rising socialist wing, and if they don't get a large portion of the young vote, they can't win elections. Just like if they don't get something like 90, some odd percent of the black vote, they can't win elections. So the Democrats have such a flimsy alliance going on that they really can't throw anyone out right now that's willing to work with them. So that's what's going on here. They don't know what the future of the party is. They really have no idea. So I think they're just feeling around trying to see what works, because if they don't figure something out in the next year, they're fucked. They're super fucked. And here's the thing. Maybe
Biden 2020.
I don't think Biden would be able to win, but he's the best shot they have right now. And look, maybe we're overreacting, so let's just read through their website and let's see how socialist they are. Who we are and what we do. The Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, is the largest socialist organization in the United States.
They just said socialist, right?
Yeah, that was right up front, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
We believe that working people should run both the economy and society democratically to meet human needs, not to make profits for a few. So let's decode what they're saying here. We believe the working people, right? So that's the people. That's the people of the Democratic Republic of China, right? That's the people. The working people should run both the economy and society. So that's not the market running itself. That is centralized control through, quote unquote, the people. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yes.
Both of the economy and the society, democratically. So what this is supposed to say is, instead of there being a strong man on top making these decisions, the people vote as a whole. That doesn't make it any better to me.
Oh, but that's a childish way of viewing how businesses run. Like, as a person that runs a business, yes, it's a very childish way of viewing it, because not that I think that business owners shouldn't pay fair wages or give incentives to employees, but there's kind of like a risk reward thing, what I mean? And it's not just a risk reward thing. It's like, okay, so if I don't find clientele, I don't make any money. Right. Employees don't find clientele. If the owner of the company doesn't find clientele, the employees don't make money because I don't have any money to pay them. So they can get together as a group and say that the business should be split up equally. But if there's no business because they've kicked out the owners of the businesses, and now there's nobody out there looking for business, it's a moot point. Because not everybody, I'm going to tell you this right now, not everybody is meant to run a business. Some people are just meant to work,
Oh yeah, there's leaders and there's
right?
followers. There's entrepreneurs
Yes.
and there's workers. Yeah.
There's people that are way better at running businesses than I am. I'm very good at what I do, but there's people that do like maybe even a quarter of a good job or no even a quarter of what I do that are millionaires off of their renovations companies because they're awesome at business and they're awesome at selling and they're awesome at selling themselves and they're punctual and they keep track of the paperwork, all things that I don't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
So putting it to vote is irrelevant if it's not there in the first place, right?
No, no.
Because if all of a sudden I'm like, just say I'm American and I have my small renovations company the same way that I do here, and all of a sudden fucking the Social Democrats win the fucking election, and then they're like, the business is no longer yours. I'll walk away. I'm not gonna fucking sit around and drum up business and so that we can all have equal fucking shares in my company, and I'm gonna ask the employees like where we should go now, what direction we should take. It's on me. It's my risk. It's not their risk. They'll just get another fucking job. You know what I mean?
No,
Like you can't just start another business tomorrow. It's not like starting a business. It's not like people have this very strange view of and they also like all business people are evil. Sometimes I don't make as much as people that work for a company. It's the nature of the fucking beast, man.
Right. Sometimes your employees bring home, or the people that you pay to work for you will make more money off a job than you will because of any number of things. Like you take
Yes.
a risk, and if
Yes.
there's a problem, you have to eat the loss. And if but they still get paid. You know, so it's okay. And the very end of this is, you know, society democratically to meet human needs, not to make profits for a few. The demonization of profits is also a fundamental misunderstanding of for one, profit.
But no, it's demonization of profit by owner, because you are profiting off of your time given to me. Okay? So they are making a profit. It's not like they're not making any profit. You wouldn't work if you didn't make any fucking profit. It's the fact that the owner is making more than them that they're complaining about.
But okay, when you have an entrepreneur that is making an excess of money, far more is coming out of the business than he's putting into the business, then that is a sign that you're doing something successful. Okay. So the market is proving that you are doing something valuable to society, so you're rewarded. If you take that surplus and you reinvest it again, you try to find something else that the market will say you have succeeded at, so you can make even more money. And this is how people accumulate a great deal of wealth, right? So if you take away that profit motive, one, why are people going to do the work? And two, how is a successful person going to continue to multiply that success over and over without that capital to try again? So it's, even if you don't take out the market, you just take out the profit, you steal the ambition, and you take away future ventures from, let's say, an extraordinary person. Because to be an entrepreneur, you have to be somewhat extraordinary. So to
be successful at it.
Yes,
to be successful
yes,
at
to
it.
be successful over an extended period of time, year after year, you're successful. You know, like my mother's business, everyone around her has closed down, and she has stayed open. That shows that she has some sort of extraordinary operation model that she's working under, which is another story for another day. But let's get back. We are like a sentence into this website. Which, by the way, Brandon, you're not listening, but Brandon, I kept telling you that these cunts were socialist, and I sent you this website 3 times, and you wouldn't read it. 3 times. We're a political and activist organization, not a party.
I've convinced him he's not socialist, though.
That he's not socialist?
Yes.
No,
so
he's an entrepreneur.
He's like whatever you have, that's what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
what's bad is that means he's been brainwashed to the point that he would actually advocate for socialism, not knowing what he's actually wanting. Right?
Well, he was confused between, and like a lot of people are, between democratic socialism and social democracy.
Fair enough.
And it's a two-party system that's done that. Anyways, go on.
We are a political and activist organization, not a party. Through campus and community-based chapters, DSA members use a variety of tactics from legislative to direct action to fight for reforms that empower working people. And then, of course, a link here to get swag about a hashtag abolish ICE. So, that's an odd capitalist response to have on your socialist webpage.
Mm.
Making money through the and here's some articles. Let's see what we have here. The grassroots economics training for understanding the power is a series. No, and this is just more stuff going on the website. You want to take a left through here, or do you want to talk more about the difference between the?
I can if you'd like to.
I'll let me try to start this out. So what's going on here, and the reason I wanted to bring this in is that a lot of people are confusing, the system that countries like Canada or Scandinavian countries have, where it's a free market economy, where business owners get to run their businesses and make their profits. There's just large taxes waiting at the end of the year to redistribute that to the working class a little more, right? You have heavy social programs. You have universal health care, and
wages inside the countries are higher.
Tend to be higher. You get more,
holidays,
maternal care,
leave,
type of thing, and
paid maternal leave,
paid maternal leave, maternity leave, and paternity leave, and.
But I still contest your wages would go up if you guys had universal health care, because employers would no longer have to pay for health insurance, and that money. I'm not saying 100% it would, but to get rock star employees in the States, they use that we have an awesome healthcare package as an enticement. But if that healthcare package is no longer needed, it would need to be then put into, well, we're going to give you $8 an hour into pension, or we're going to give you an extra, $10 an hour, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
so these are social democracies, and what people mean when they say social democracies is they are liberal democracies with large social programs. Those are social liberal democracies.
Yes, it's a social liberal democracy with a regulated capitalist system with a wide social umbrella.
Which is not the same as democratic socialism, which
is
the enactment of socialism democratic process, right?
I know, like these people are so every time I've had this argument with somebody, they always give me the definition of social democracy when we're talking about democratic socialism. But all democratic socialism is, it's socialism brought forth through a voting process.
Right.
Through democracy, and then you supposed to be out to vote again, but good luck once that gets in. And all these people that are like that are screaming for this, and they're saying, well, we're not real socialists. Well, excuse me, there are real socialists. And once your country becomes a socialist country, those real socialists are going to come forward, and your dumbasses are going to be kicked to the curb.
Right. So this basic misunderstanding of the terms creates a bit of a danger here. So part of the way the neo-Marxist, progressive, regressive left, whatever you want to call them, that which cannot be named, the way it has taken root in the Democratic Party is our two-party system, where everything is either on the left or on the right.
On the right, and anything that's on the left is socialist, communist, and anything that's on the right is fascist. To the other sides. And I think if they would call it what it is, social democracy. Now, I'm not saying that social democracy is perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, I wish I would pay less taxes, but I'm super happy about our healthcare system. I'll tell you that. I think it would be more palatable for people in the U.S. to consider it if these dumb fuckers would stop calling themselves socialists, if they would learn, because the terminology for political ideologies matter, right?
Yes, they do.
It's how you make your decision. It's how you make the decision to vote. So if I understand all the differences between the political ideologies and somebody is canvassing my neighborhood and they come to my house and they say, we're from the Democratic Socialists of America, I'm going to slam the door in their face.
Mm-hmm.
If they came to my house and said, we're from the Social Democrats of the United States, I would listen to what they had to say. If they opened up if the first line out of their mouth was social justice, I'd slam that door in their face the same way I did the Democratic Socialists, but I would at least take the time to hear them out, because at least I know they want people to own their own property. They want the free market because they understand in order to pay for all those social programs, you need capitalism.
Right. So what I was saying is that we have this left-right dichotomy. So the way the progressives got in the Democratic Party is they would have ideas that sound halfway liberal. You know, so we're here to protect the minorities. We're here to protect the gays, and then they're brought into the party, and then it kind of poisoned the well, to where we've lost what it means to be liberal in the classical sense, and now liberal just means left wing, and conservative means right wing. And that's not exactly the way it was set up in the first place. And the same thing is happening now. You know, people hear, Democratic Socialist, Social Democrat, oh, it's the same thing. And when you think you're getting someone like Bernie, you're actually getting someone who is trying to abolish ICE, abolish the prison system, she said.
Oh, wow.
Start releasing people from prison. Okay, like
on what justification?
And you just hear these numbers. You know, we have a quarter of the world's prisoners, 5% of the world population. We imprison more people than anyone else. You know,
you have a lot of crime.
We clearly, well, those are also admitted. Like you think China's telling us about all their prisoners? You think Russia's telling us about all their prisoners?
Well, they don't even are they even taking the data? Is the question? It's like
what we are is we're the most honest country of our size is what we are.
Yeah.
We actually keep good records on who's in
and a huge difference is coming from North America is our police services kick the crap out of everybody else. You know what I mean? Like RCMP, FBI, fucking CSIS, CIA, and then just our regular municipal police forces. You can't compare what they do to other third world and even communist countries. Like it's just the technology that we have and the techniques that they use. They arrest more people and they keep the data. It's plain and simple. I would say.
Well, we also have we take the drug war very seriously in America, and a great deal of those arrests are from the drug war. And of course, there's the 3 strikes program that was put in during the 90s, which of course, coincidentally, crime dropped significantly as soon as we started filling these prisons. So I used to be real on the left when it comes to the prison thing. Particularly as someone who has been falsely arrested, and I have some drug arrests in the past, so I was very sympathetic to the large prison population. But then you start coming across stats like, oh, Chicago has a higher murder rate than Afghanistan. Yeah, that'll fill some prisons. That'll fill several prisons. Just that city alone. So it's
the only problem that I have with your penal system is the lengths. The sentences are crazy. You don't need to like what is it in Nevada? I don't know if it's still like that, but like there was a Canadian guy that got fucking busted with a roach in his car and he got life in prison.
Yeah, man, you go to any like prison block, and the guy that's been in there longest is like, oh, I got caught with 2 keys of cocaine.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
you know. But Stabby Steve over here, he's getting out after 20 years for
yeah,
stabbing 15 people. We definitely have some. We need sentencing reform. We definitely
yeah,
need sentencing reform. And we could release some nonviolent prisoners, but to say we need to, and someone will say, you mean reform, and she'll correct them. No, I mean abolish. I mean dismantle and rebuild. Uh, like you realize Jeffrey Dahmer and like are in these prisons. You realize that he'll kill you and rape you and eat you, and maybe in that order. Maybe.
yes.
Like you,
If he wasn't beaten to death by a guy that thought he was Jesus. True story.
tell that story. What?
Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer was beaten to death in a prison by a black man that thought he was Jesus.
They thought Jeffrey Dahmer was Jesus, or the
No,
black man thought
no,
he
the
was
black man
Jesus?
thought he was Jesus.
Black Jesus. Okay.
Black Jesus
Beat up
delivered
Jeffrey
justice.
Dahmer.
Delivered justice with a broom handle.
Well, until you prove to me that that's not Jesus, I'm going to assume that Jesus showed up in prison and dealt out some justice.
And dealt out some Jeffrey Dahmer style justice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What did you have for tonight?
I have. Okay, so we have talked a lot about the migrant crisis to us. You guys would think it was like Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like 7,500 people walking across a border in 6 months. You guys are like, that's Tuesday. But to us, not being beside Mexico and our neighbors being another first world country, you come to visit, you don't come to stay. You know what I mean?
I'm fairly sure we have more needles on the streets of California than you have people in Canada. So that is a lot of people poured into your country.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess statistically, yeah. So we have, if we're getting, so it was 7,500 in 6 months. So if we're getting 1,500 or 15,000 a year, and we have 35 million people, yeah, it's a lot of people, and this has been going on for a little while now, and so the federal government. So just a backstory, if you're the first time you're hearing about this, Donald Trump told a bunch of Muslim countries that until we assess the risk, we're not letting any of you people in our country. And the world went, ah! And Justin Trudeau, oh, if you're a refugee, Canada will take you. Like he's some kind of fucking hero, fucking walking vagina. And not thinking that any of them were going to take him seriously and walk here, because who would actually think that you could get to Canada, first of all, right? Like if you're an African or if you're a Syrian refugee, but they found their way, and it's through the States. So there's actually a law that's called the first safe country law. And if you're an actual refugee, that's how you know that these people aren't actual refugees. They're just migrants, economic migrants. The first safe country you land in has to take you in. And that's per the Geneva Convention from the League of Nations. And the U.S. signed on to it. Canada signed on to it. All the Western countries that give a crap signed on to this. So if they are actual refugees, then they should be claiming their status in the States and not coming to Canada.
Well, you may be getting ahead of yourself. Where are they from in the first place? If they came from Mexico to the United States to Canada, yes. If they came from Guatemala to Mexico to United States.
Hang on. These people, a lot of them, had already received refugee status in the U.S. and had been living there for years.
Had received refugee status
in the United States.
Okay.
Okay? So they had already applied for the refugee status. Mm-hmm. They had been living in the U.S. for years.
Had they gotten it or had they applied?
No, they had gotten it.
Okay.
Some of them had gotten it. Okay? They had jobs driving tractor trailers. They had fucking houses to live. And then they fucking were like, Trump's going to kill us. So they fucking started walking across the border in the middle of the winter. And there's signs where they're coming across that says, this is fucking the Canadian border. It's against the law to cross it. And they cross it anyways, which in my mind makes it illegal because it says you will be arrested if you cross this border. But the liberals, the federal liberals, they refuse to call them illegal border crossers. They're refugees and asylum seekers.
Okay.
The new wave is not even bothering claiming refugee status in the U.S. The new wave, what they're doing is they're just flying there on travel visas, and then going to New York, and then crossing the border into Canada, and then claiming asylum. Now the issue here is that if they had crossed at an actual border crossing, like where there's a border guards and everything, they would be sent back because the U.S. and Canada have a deal between each other that if somebody is in the U.S. and they go to the Canadian border crossing and the agents are there and they try to claim asylum, they get sent back. And same deal here. If somebody leaves here and goes there but if you cross in between, because our border is the longest unguarded border in the world, they can just freely walk across without having to deal with them, and then they get arrested later on, which makes no fucking sense to me. I feel like it says illegal. You should just send them back to Nigeria or the U.S. or wherever the fuck you want to go to. Anyways, the federal government, after, and especially Justin Trudeau, after playing this holier than now fucking everybody can come here, hasn't given the provinces any money for this issue. So Quebec and Ontario, that are taking the brunt of it, have had to shoulder the bill of all these people. And our system for like, so when they come here, they have nothing, right? There's no home for them. They don't have any money. Like we got in one day 44 families. That's not 44 people. That's 44 families in my city. Now, how shelter works is there are family shelters, but Jesus Christ, it's not fit to take 44 families when there's already homeless Canadian families living in these shelters. You know what I mean? Like, there's just the system. The system isn't, and they're not giving any money to help out with it whatsoever. So Trudeau then started putting more pressure on Ontario because Quebec was actually taking the brunt of it at first, and then Quebec's like, we're tapped, we can't deal with this anymore. So he started shipping them here. That was when we had Catherine Wynne, who is also a liberal. When I say liberal, I mean Liberal Party, for people that don't know, provincial premier. She got ousted by a conservative. So the conservatives have now said, we're not taking any more unless you pony up. So we have a immigration minister, and what I wanted to read you guys tonight was basically a confrontation that happened between our immigration minister, Lisa MacLeod, for Ontario, and the federal immigration minister, which is Hamad Hussein, something like that. Okay.
Hold on, Hamad Hussein?
Hamad Hussein, yes.
Okay.
The Ontario Cabinet Minister responsible for immigration has demanded an apology from Federal Immigration Minister Ahmed Hussein, who she says called her un-Canadian in attempts to bully her into accepting the federal government's line on immigration. So get that into you. If you disagree with the fact that people should just be able to walk across our border and jump ahead of the line of people that are trying to legally immigrate to this country, when there's a sign that clearly says it's illegal to cross this border, you will be arrested, you're not Canadian. You're un-Canadian. Fucking cunts. The remarks came after MPP Lisa MacLeod said the province of Ontario would not join the communique signed at a meeting of federal, provincial, and territorial ministers in Winnipeg. Following the meeting, Hassan told reporters it's unfortunate that Ontario was not part of the communique, which called for a collaborative and long-term effort to improve the immigration system. And by improve the immigration system, he just means let people walk into the country. He made the comments as MacLeod sat at the back of the room instead of standing alongside Hussein and the other ministers at the podium. I see the minister in the room, so this is the federal minister talking about the provincial minister now. I see the minister in the room, but not joining us at the podium, Hussein said, addressing MacLeod. It's not too late, Minister. I encourage you to come join us. You are part of the Canadian family. Hussein also accused Ontario of employing a rhetoric of fear and division. No, you just divided her. Like, you're the one that's like it's so hypocritical, it's not even funny. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you see a lot of that from that side, like accusing the other side of doing what they're doing.
Yes.
You know, like that's racist. A black person would never act like that. Like, you're the one stereotyping when you make that statement. It's the same thing here. It's
okay.
Excuse my interruption.
Sure, I'll start that paragraph over. Hassan Ahmed accused Ontario of employing a rhetoric of fear and division and using the province's refugee crisis to condemn people fleeing difficult situations. Okay. Motherfucker, this guy went to Nigeria to tell them to stop coming because the wave of people that are coming right now are flying from Nigeria to the United States and then walking across the border. They are not refugees. They're not asylum seekers. They are economic migrants. And if you're not going to help us pay for it, no. And this is coming from an immigrant, by the way. Okay, and then so difficult situations. Intentionally doing this is irresponsible. It's divisive, it's fear-mongering, and it's not Canadian, and it's very dangerous. Motherfuck you. So if we don't agree with Ahmed Hussein, we're un-Canadian. And Justin Trudeau and his fucking fly-by-night comment tweet that he probably didn't even mean, he was just fucking virtue signaling, because obviously he didn't mean it, because he's not fucking ponying out any of the money to help for it. You know how long the waiting list is to actually immigrate here legally? It takes a long fucking time.
Yeah, this is what confuses me too. Like, okay, so you can sort of make an argument that having strict immigration and closing down borders is somewhat of an un-American thing to do, because America has a great tradition of immigration, right? But Canada does not have a great history of send us your sick, send us your poor world masses. You know,
no. Our immigration, it's hard to get in here.
Right, and it always has been.
Yes.
You've always had a very traditional, and here's the thing, for a lot of American history, we actually had it was very difficult to get in, a very traditional immigration policy that was only open to certain demographics, until the last 50 or so years. But at least an argument can be made. It's just interesting to me, like, the fucker's not even making an argument custom fit for the situation. Like, he's borrowing the argument from our left wing.
Yes.
And he's just applying it to your country where it doesn't even fucking make sense.
No.
It's cookie cutter arguing, you know?
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's like, they're not saying nobody can come here. That's not what the conservatives of Ontario are saying. What they're saying is, give us money or we can't take anymore. But that's left out of this. You know?
That's so fair. That's so fair too.
Yeah, it's like, and the other thing is too is like the progressive conservatives, which I'm not a member of, they're not anti-immigration. That's why the rhetoric from the left in Canada is if you disagree with illegal border crossing, you're anti-immigration. I wouldn't be here if I was anti-immigration. You dumb fucking twats. No, it's called it's like there's a way to get in here. It's hard. It's a point system. It's harder than most countries. You're better off going to the States. You'll get in a lot easier.
They think that by conflating legal and illegal immigration, they're going to get more people that fight for just wide open immigration, but they're going to get the opposite. The more you act like, like all immigration is illegal immigration, the more you're going to have people that say, you know what, just fucking shut the border down then.
Yeah, and that's how
that's how what you almost said. That's how I'm feeling.
I'm feeling that way what I'm feeling is not shutting down the border for people coming here. What I'm feeling is that they have RCMP officers there, and they should be there to send them back. Like as soon as they step across our border, the RCMP should be pushing them back into the U.S. I know you don't want to hear that, but
well, here, you know what, man? If our plan was to then, deport them back to where they belong, I'm fine with that. Actually, you did us the favor of catching them.
Yeah,
I don't even mind footing the taxpayer bill to send them out.
I want refugees to be able to come here. Yeah. I want the people that are refugees to be able to come here. I think that we should do a better job at processing refugees. I think that if people that people that are actually in need of the situation, I think we should have people on the ground where they are and deciding who needs it. Like a gay atheist in Syria, that guy probably needs to be over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Like seriously, like that guy probably needs to be over here. But if you're in Nigeria and you can afford a plane ticket to the United States, and then you have an Uber app on your fucking iPhone, and you hop in the fucking Uber and you tell them, drive me to the fucking Canadian border, and you walk across as you're fucking checking your Facebook messages, sorry, you're not an asylum seeker, you're not a refugee, you're an economic migrant, and you're illegally crossing the Canadian border. The system now, Dustin, is so backlogged, it's going to take 2 years to process these people. So in the meantime, even though they're not refugees, and they're not going to get refugee status, that's the kicker out of this. 85-90% of the people that Justin Trudeau said, come on in, it's not up to him. He doesn't decide who's a refugee and who's not a refugee. Shit, there's a woman right now that she and her kid, so she's from the Sudan, and she helped women escape that were going to be genitally mutilated. But her family is super Orthodox Muslims, or crazy Muslims, and they want to fucking chop her daughter's clit off. So she escaped. She knows that if she's caught, she's going to be tortured and murdered. They escaped to fucking South Africa. From South Africa, they went to America. From America, they went to Canada. Canada said yes to the daughter, no to the mother, knowing that she's going to be tortured and murdered. Okay, so not all these people are going to get status anyway. So they're wasting our money, and it's wasting our time. And this is what this is the reform he wants, is just to be like, oh, everybody that, but you can't do that. That's Europe. You want to ruin over here too? Because it'll ruin both countries. If one of us starts doing that, it's going to ruin both countries.
Yep.
So I mean, we just can't have it. Anyways, that's my fucking piece on that.
Fair enough, man. And I guess I could throw in I'm all for refugees. I'm all for legal vetted migration. Though I think a million a year, we do over a million a year. I think that's too much.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot, dude. Like we have 350 million this year. 351 million next year, and that's not including birthdays.
Yeah.
352. Jeez. And this has been going on for 50 years now, dude. We would have 300 million instead of 350 million.
Wow.
Think about it, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking immigrants too, man.
350 million, 60 million Mexicans.
Plus, yeah. Right, plus illegals. Those are just okay. Legal residents. Yeah.
I want to say this one thing.
Go on.
Okay. Trump.
Yeah.
If you're gonna yell at Mexico about them not sending their best and having them cross their fucking borders, right back at you, buddy. Oh, right back at you.
First of all, these are not our people.
Well, what? Hey, whoa! You let them in your country, my friend.
Let them just because people came and applied for they got refugee status, dude. It's like they're fleeing over fear mongering too. How many refugees have we rounded up now?
Yeah.
That's
no.
Yeah, they're not. We're not sending anyone. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too is a trade war aside.
And you know what, Dave? They're not our best. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Trade war aside. Ever since Justin Trudeau took over, our economy's taken a hit. It's job rates, obviously we're still growing at the 2.5% that is standard for G7 countries, but our job growth is not as good as it was during the Harper years. Our debt ratio has gone up a lot because he likes to spend. So you guys after 2014 started an upward trend because that's what normally happens when you dip into a recession. After the recession, you shoot out of it and you kind of go on an upward trend, and your economy's been on that upward trend ever since about 2014. So I mean, and Trump's not going to kill you. So if the job situation is good and they're not actually going to round you up, other than healthcare, I don't know why you would come here, especially those southern hemisphere people. Jesus, man. Some of them walk across in the winter, which is insane.
Yeah. I remember a guy that lost fingers?
Fingers and toes.
Fingers and toes crossing. They don't even know where the city is. They just cross and start walking.
They just cross. Yeah.
And they have
There's no city. There's no city anywhere because that's the thing. It's if you've never traveled in Canada, it's fucking giant, and the cities are so far apart from each other that it's so from here to Toronto is 5 hours, and there's no other major cities in between. From here to Vancouver, it takes 5 days. From here to where I grew up, it's 31 hours north. And there's no major cities in between.
Jesus Christ.
So from here, so if I head west, so from here to Winnipeg, that's 24 hours. That's the next major city. Then from Winnipeg to Calgary is another 18 hours. That's the next major city. And then from Calgary to Vancouver, that's another 18 hours. So I mean, they're most of the country is small, 50,000, 60,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There can't be too many of those either.
No, there's not a ton of them. Not for the size. And 90% of the population is huddled right along that fucking border, right?
Right, right. I mean, everyone likes to be close to greatness.
Yeah, it's more like warm weather because
Same thing.
like a huge portion of this country is you can't even live in it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like it is a giant country, but it's not like you can put a fucking city fucking out in Hudson's Bay and fucking people are gonna flock to fucking come and visit it. You know what I mean? Like the very few select people that are gonna live up there, and they all eat whale blubber.
Eskimos. All right, gotcha,
That's
man.
Inuits in Canada.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
It is.
I had a
Yeah.
I had an Eskimo.
I call them human flagpoles, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I just heard that brought up recently on like horrific things governments have done, like a top 10 thing.
Okay. Oh, and then you're like, oh fuck yeah, Dave told me about that.
Yeah.
Is that hilarious?
That is.
Well, it's not hilarious, but it's hilarious that the government did it. It's not hilarious. You know what I mean?
They moved a tribe of native people further north just to claim territory as their own during the Cold War, just to tell Russia to fuck themselves.
Yeah. So what they did was they told the natives that the hunting was a lot better up there, and that they would supply them, that they would give them endless supplies, and then they moved them up there and planted a Canadian flag there and said, if you see anybody coming from that way, let us know, and didn't supply them.
Good God. That's about right, man. All right. I feel like this show is wrapping up, man. We've been at it for a little more than an hour. Anything you want to add? If you
good times are had by all. No.
If anyone's wondering where the third of the group is, Ed is busy. He's been farming.
Sucking dick.
He's been farming ass. He started an ass farm, and it's hard work on this iceberg to farm a bunch of ass. So he hasn't had time for the show or for us.
Yes.
Yeah. He said he was gonna go get a pack of cigarettes, and we haven't seen him in about a month now.
No, yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave, anything else?
Nah, I'm good, man. Yeah, thanks for joining us. If you saw us live, that's kind of weird. I wasn't like I think I'll prepare better next time.
Yeah, me too.
I think I'm gonna do some push-ups, some sit-ups, maybe a few burpees. Get into the mood for it. No, I think we should sit down before we actually start, and then talk about how we're going to start the show, how we're going to end the show, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Which we have had one viewer for about 45 minutes now. Yeah. I'll say I watch a lot of.
I think that person put it on and then went to make something to eat and just forgot it was on.
I can probably.
There's no way they sat through that.
Probably, man. Man, I watch a lot of live streams on YouTube, and a great deal of them have very little to no foreplanning or professionalism. There's a great deal of dead time. Like if you watch shows like the Ralph Retort or the Morning Kumatai, it's some kind of alt-righty-ish like streams. Okay. Kind of to the right of like Andy Worski and his whole thing. So those guys, they'll be just dead time, just 30, 15.
But Andrew yells though, eh? Andrew's like, bah!
Andy,
I'm Andrew Worski. Whoa, look at me, fuck, I'm crazy.
I know you don't follow YouTube drama.
No.
But Andy and JR,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they split up.
Okay.
And
does he still have the Asian kid with him?
The Asian kid's like behind the camera now.
Okay.
Like he's doing the production end of it. No, he has Andy does like a much more chill thing. It's not so.
So it's not like, man, I'm Andrew Worski. This is crazy. Everything's crazy. Whoa, no, racist.
He's still.
Whoa, it's racist.
He
screams racist just as much as the fucking left screams racist.
Fair enough. Particularly when he was like doing his anti-SJW thing, which is where you
Yeah,
know him
yeah,
more from. Yeah.
yeah,
No, he's doing more like almost like a morning radio hangout type of thing. It's not so political. It's more like YouTube drama. Uh,
yeah. Didn't
JF.
him and Jeff Holiday had their little tiffy taffy?
Yeah, Jeff, and we're just gossiping on YouTube about YouTubers now.
I know.
Jeff Holiday, because he was wrapped up in the whole Kraut and T doxing thing. I don't know what you know about that.
I don't. I know this much.
So Kraut and T had a whole doxing folder and whatever.
You're gonna have to start with who fucking Crouton T is.
He was one of like the top 3 or 4 like anti HAW YouTubers like a year ago. When it was really popping.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, man, I don't know if I cared to go into all this.
Yeah, you don't have to.
He ends up going against the alt-right on the whole race realism thing, and
okay.
The thing is that
sense.
The alt-right actually has a lot of good arguments on race realism. Like the argument that there is no such thing as race doesn't hold a lot of ground. Like it's measurable. Like the skeleton's different, the blood work's different,
Yes.
the DNA's different, like the shape of the brain and the skull is different. Like, no, we're not counting dimples, but like the shape and size and that type of thing. And tests are different, and tendencies are different, and to act like all that doesn't exist, and to say that it has no basis in biology, I think is short-sighted. Like, yes. You are socialized into some of who you are, but some of it you're just born as who you are.
So would you not think then that it's like one race, but with genetic differences brought on through environmental pressures?
Yeah, so call that whatever you want.
Yeah.
The fact is that there are demographic
there are genetic differences.
There are genetic differences, and some of it does show up in how we act and how we think, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, just like each individual isn't equal, those unequal individuals aren't evenly distributed among all demographics. Okay, so
yeah.
But
it was brought on through environmental pressure. Diet.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. If you have 10,000 years or so without interbreeding, there's going to be a fair amount of divergence, and of course, we have that. So anyway, which and don't quote me on any of that. Anyone ever? I don't know. I'm not a specialist, right? By any measure, but. So Kraut tries to go against all this, and it's very difficult to, right? When you talk about alt-right's desire to have an ethno-state, that's easy to argue against.
Is that the guy you were telling me that was like trying to argue against them, but then started becoming them?
No, that was Mouthy Buddha.
Okay.
So this guy, not being able to come up with good arguments, he starts working to dox some people, and he gets caught.
Okay.
And he gets run the fuck off the internet, right? Just shaved off of YouTube. Like, he shut down everything.
Yeah.
And Jeff Holiday was involved in all that.
Okay.
So he gets like a few hundred, maybe 1,000 views now on his videos. Jeff Holiday is bombed out, man.
Jeff does?
Yeah.
Really, eh? Because he was doxing people?
He wasn't doxing people, but he was involved in a plot that was going to dox. He made some jokes about it on like all these people get on these Discords, So Discord is like a series of Skypes that are always running, right? So there are channels that you just go in and like, and the way we hang out on Facebook Messenger, there are Discord chats where there's large groups of people just hanging out in like a Skype room, a Discord room. So Kraut set up some of these, and Jeff and some other people were in there, and they were recorded talking about it, and it was all released. So it ruined all their reputation.
Oh.
It ruined their reputations. So that happened. Whatever. I'm cutting down. I'm cutting off the stream. I'm getting out of here. All right. You're
running away.
Have a good night, everyone.